Hello and welcome back into Centex Primetime. I am your host, Jalen Gillis, getting ready to bring you through the primetime topics in sports, not just here in the Central Texas area, but from all around the nation. Want to thank everybody for tuning in with us here today on Centex Primetime. We've got a lot to talk about here on the rundown of the show today. Of course, got to hit some more of Jerry Jones, letting some more comments go about Micah Parsons. We'll talk a little bit about the head coach of Auburn basketball, Bruce Pearl, some of his comments that he had that kind of threw us off a little bit up here. We'll talk about some Baylor football. They've got a couple of guys that made some preseason watch lists to win some awards this year. We'll talk about the AP coaches poll that came out a couple of days ago, the first coaches poll in college football, and talk about the rankings, who got what right and who got what wrong on there as well. And, of course, we'll touch on some of the stuff that's going on around NFL training camp as well today. I want to thank everybody for tuning in with us, whether that is on YouTube, Centex Sports TV / Centex Sports Network over on YouTube, or if that is on Facebook, Centex Sports Network, or you can always go to our website, centexsportsnetwork.com. Go and check us out on there. Free subscription. Just need your name and your email. Go on there and get signed up with us. Well, folks, like I said, we're going to jump right into it as we've got a lot to talk about here today. Joining me back on the set with us, the guy that you've seen with us all year long, Mr. Wayne Walker, the Waco ISD Hall of Famer, former Texas Tech Red Raider, and we're going to talk a little bit about those Chargers as well today. Wayne, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Jalen?
Yeah, nothing much. Well, folks, like I said, lots going on. NFL training camp is in full effect right now. We're actually getting ready for the first weekend of football from here until about February. We're going to have football every single weekend, so that always sounds good to me now that we're getting back into the groove of football season. One of the things going on in training camp, one of the biggest stories has been, I guess you could say, the feud, the beef, whatever you want to call it, between Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones. Really not much of a feud or a beef. It's just all about the money. Micah Parsons still looking to get paid, and Jerry Jones still looking for, I don't know exactly what he's looking for on his reason to pay Micah Parsons. Micah has done everything in my estimation of what you're supposed to do to go out there and get paid. Now that he's sitting out, Jerry Jones has repeatedly taken shots almost at Micah Parsons or talked about different things. I want to play a quick clip of some of what Jerry Jones had to say yesterday in practice. Put these here.
Urgent that we need to get something resolved one way or another, that he's on the field against Philadelphia.
Again, your definition of urgent is not necessarily. I don't believe you gave a definition of urgent. Okay,
and
so I stay urgent. It's what it is what it is, and we'll work through it, or we will not work through it. Okay.
Any confidence that he will be on the field against Philadelphia?
Again, no, absolutely not. That has to. A big part of that is his decision. How would I know that? I'm just saying. No, but I'm urgent.
So Jerry Jones, as always, has some comments of what he wanted to say and some things of how he wanted to lay this out. He says, when the guy asks, when does it get urgent to sign Micah? I'm always urgent. That doesn't really answer the question, Jerry. Then they asked him, okay, well, do you expect Micah Parsons to play in week 1? He says, absolutely not. And that's not left up to me on if he plays or not. Okay, well, my thinking is, if it's not on you, Jerry, who is it on? He wants to get paid. He's already let it be known. I'm not going to practice nor play until I get paid. Now the ball is in your court. You can't then combat that by saying, well, he said he's not going to play. He said there was a reason for why he said he wasn't going to play. The guy asked you, when is it going to get urgent? I'm always urgent. We can't tell. We can't tell at all, Jerry, that you're always urgent because you waited to pay CD like this last year. You waited to pay Dak. You wait to pay all these guys, most of these guys. We talked about on Monday how it's most of them. You didn't make Tony Romo wait like this. You didn't make Travis Frederick wait like this. You ain't make Jason Witten wait like this. But CD got to wait. Dak got to wait. Dez Bryant had to wait. Micah Parsons has to wait. This is a reoccurring theme for you at this point. What do you think about his comments on not only not being urgent, but then Micah saying he probably not going to play in week 1?
Well, the problem with the whole situation is he controls the whole narrative.
Yeah.
I mean, he controls the problem. You know, if you're talking about urgency, he should have had that urgency 2 years ago when you should have went in and you should have renegotiated with him, and then you wouldn't be in this situation now, and you would have been paying a lot less money.
Yep.
But now, clearly, he has to be the highest paid defensive player in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what he's done on the field, it dictates that. That's what his play has dictated the fact that he should be the highest paid player in the NFL, and that's what they're facing. But so that urgency should have been last year, is when he should have really paid him. But he still controls them because he's still under contract for a year. They can put the franchise tag on this guy. So really, everything is in Jerry's court.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you want your best players on the team. You want your best players on the team to be happy, and clearly that's their best defensive player, probably their best player overall with the Cowboys. So you want them to be extremely happy, and the better. I mean, the sooner the better. So they need to get this done. And I think Jerry Jones just like making. I think he just likes making headlines, and I think he wants to be in the headlines. You know, you don't ever see any other owners talking but Jerry Jones. So this is his toy. It's the most expensive franchise in the NFL. So he can do it however he wants to. And I think he likes the attention more than anything. But it's a business decision for Michael Parsons. So, Mike, man, take care of your business. Football doesn't last forever. And get paid your worth. That's all I can say.
At this point, you just got to sit out and just wait it out as long as it's not going to hurt Michael whatsoever. He's going to get paid whether it's from Jerry or whether it's from anybody else. He's going to get paid regardless. The only person losing in this situation is Jerry Jones. You're hurting your football team. You're hurting team morale because everyone in the locker room has to look around at our best player on the team has to almost come out and beg just to get paid what he's worth.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a good observation because, I mean, and you've seen it with Dax, you've seen it with CD. I mean, it's the same occurring situation over and over again. The same situation.
Over and over, we have to sit here and watch and have to debate, why does Michael Parsons not get paid? Why does his CD last year doesn't have to get paid? This is a reoccurring theme from Jerry, and as usual, he tries to place blame somewhere else. He tried to place it on the reporter. Well, I don't know what your definition of urgency is. I think it's only one definition of urgency. I don't think you have to. And clearly, you're not being urgent if your best player is getting down to this final, to the point that he has to sit out and request a trade from the team just to get his own money. None of this makes any sense. If you would have just paid him 3 months ago, you'd have saved yourself close to $30 million. Just 3 months ago. But since then, Max Crosby's gotten paid. T.J. Watt has gotten paid.
Myles Garrett.
Yeah, Myles Garrett has gotten paid. All these guys keep resetting the market. Do you think Mike is going to somehow not reset the market because you don't want him to? That doesn't make any sense.
And you're talking about the younger of each out of
all the people
those
we
guys.
named.
Yeah.
The youngest guy. He's only 26 years old. One of the only people in NFL history to make multiple first-team All-Pros throughout his first couple of years in the league. This is the guy that you're talking about toying with trading away, saying, I don't expect him to be ready for week 1 at all. Don't you think that's a problem? Right. Are you okay with going into Philly and getting beat down? Because that's what's going to happen. I think that might happen anyway, but without Micah Parsons,
they don't have a chance.
You don't have a chance. That's your best player. You can't go into a game against the best team in the league without your best player and say, all right, guys, let's just get it together and get ready because somebody else is playing on their contract year this year. You can expect to just not even get a phone call from Jerry at this point if Michael, who is the best guy on the team, can't even get Jerry to reach back out to his representation. He does these things playing mind games, like trying to reach out to Micah and discussing numbers with Micah. You know you're not going to discuss numbers with him. Wayne, you know this. Your agent is the one that goes in there and discusses this stuff. He's trying to call him personally and discuss some numbers over the phone with nothing written down. Say, I've offered the guy over $200 million. We don't know that.
Yeah, well, the word is he don't get along with the agent. And so he's been trying to discuss contract situations with Micah Parsons directly. He has an agent. He has a representative. He has a team that he pays to do that job. So why would you even reach out to him individually and try to get something like that done? That doesn't make any sense to me. but that's Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, he's one of the big faces of the whole NFL, so he's one of the faces of the league. And Roger Goodell and Jerry Jones are close. He's one of those owners that's been an owner, man, for over 30 years. So, and he has the most, expensive franchise, the most valuable franchise in the league. So he has a lot of clout. So,
Yeah.
but he likes to be in the headlines, and that's clearly what it is. But if you want to make your fans happy, which support you, you need to get this deal done with Michael Parsons, because the fans are getting irritated,
Yes.
and they see this year after year after year. It goes all the way back to Emmitt Smith with me. So
Yeah, exactly.
that he done this same thing. So I think he should just stay out of these situations, and he should be that guy that says yes or no. But he wants to be the general manager. He wants to be the negotiation. He wants to do everything, and he has too many hats. But it's his
Way
team.
too many hats.
It's his team to do what he wants to do with it.
Yeah, it
and Jerry Jones will do what he wants to do.
And he's showing that this is just about ego. This is about Jerry Jones showing, I'm going to pay you when I want to pay you.
Yeah.
And there's no reason to do. You could have got this out the way. I spoke about it earlier in the week. Look at Patrick Mahomes, how great of a deal his deal is now. And at the time, people saying, man, they gave this dude $500 million. Now he's not even a top 5 highest paid quarterback in the league, and clearly the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
But Dak's making more, Trevor Lawrence making more, Brock Purdy's making more because they got the deal done early.
Yeah,
I seen a number that Dak's cap hit this year is going to be more than Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, and A.J. Brown's contracts together on a cap hit, because the Eagles get their guys signed early.
Yeah,
Saquon Barkley just got a deal, and what'd he do? Go out there and rush for 2,000, win Super Bowl MVP, or wins the Super Bowl? We're gonna give you another contract before you wait 2 years and you become $30 million, $40 million more expensive. Let's just pay you right now. We don't have to have these conversations.
Exactly.
Same thing with Jalen Hurts when he went to that first Super Bowl. Let's just pay him now. Let's not wait and hold out and get more expensive, because that's what makes business sense.
Yeah, and it does. I mean, you got somebody that's actually thinking about the future, and you're thinking about the future of your football team. So what the Eagles do is the running back market is low right now anyway.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
they devalue running back. So you know what? Before you get to that point of free agency and we lose you, let's go ahead and do this now. But the Cowboys don't have that mindset, because they should have Michael Parsons from day one.
Yes.
Being a Cowboy, after year 2, you probably should have been
thinking about that next
thinking about
contract.
that. Yeah. So I mean, clearly you don't have anybody thinking with the Cowboys, and you don't think about the future. You're thinking about right now, and some of that needs to change, because whenever Michael Parsons signed, that cap hit for just 3 players, a receiver, a quarterback, and a defensive end, is going to be, it's going to be out of this world.
That's where you should start thinking about redoing money, or whose money can we move around. I wouldn't do it with the youngest talent and possibly maybe even one of the best defensive players in the entire NFC.
Yeah.
This is the guy's money you're playing with. Maybe your 30-something-year-old quarterback, or maybe CD Lamb, who battles through injury certain time. Maybe some of those are the guys you think about contract. I wouldn't do it with the guy that's got 52 sacks in 4 years.
Yeah.
He's going into his 5th year. It's not like Micah's been in the league 9, 10 years. He's going into his 5th year and has already accomplished more than majority of the league has. Multiple-time All-Pro, multiple-time Pro Bowler, 52 sacks in 4 years, even though he missed half the season last year. Like, come on, man. This doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And for the people that are saying, well, you could trade him and you can get 3, 4, 5 first-round picks. Are any of those first-round picks going to get 52 sacks in 4 years? The chances are no. That none of those guys are going to turn out to be a player like that. If you've got this guy already in your camp, what are we waiting on?
And the problem with me is, man, it's somebody that you drafted, and the people that you draft are the people that you want to take care of, man. Yeah. We hit gold with this one. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We scouted this player, and he turned out to be exactly what we thought he would be. And so you take care of your players that you draft, your players, and they hadn't done that, because they done that. All the players that are good players with the Cowboys, you don't have a lot of guys that come over from free agency.
No,
that it's your team. It's the
Homegrown.
guys that you drafted, homegrown guys that you drafted, and you want to take care of those guys. And they hadn't done that.
And usually that's the path, like you just said, that they try to go down. They want to pay their homegrown guys. Most of the time, when people are high draft picks like this and they turn out as productive as Micah is, they pay him early because this makes the GM look good. This makes the GM say, I saw this guy, I saw the talent, and I was completely right about what I saw. Most of the time, they want to get those guys locked up early. In this case, and all those guys that we talked about that haven't got paid were great finds for the Cowboys. They found Dak in the 4th round. And he's a multi-time Pro Bowler, multi-time All-Pro. They found CD at the end of the 1st round with other receivers going in front of him. Multiple-time All-Pro. And same thing with Micah. You think those would be the guys. Let's lock them up early, and everybody else we can fight for the money. But there's no way I'm giving Odigizua $80 million before I pay Michael Parsons any money. Like certain things, that just doesn't even go right together. So, the Cowboys, like you said, Jerry likes the drama, man.
Soap opera Cowboys, man, and it's gonna play out in the media.
Yeah,
I mean, and it's a story because we're talking about it.
Yes, absolutely.
We're talking about it because it's a story, and it's not right.
It's not at all.
And most of the guys that listen to this podcast, they Cowboy fans.
Yeah, majority.
Yeah, they Cowboy fans. So, Cowboy fans, reach out to your owner. Keep crying, and get him to pay this man.
Because I'm telling you, don't want to go on to the other side of that. First off, like I said the other day, Dallas can't take another trade like this. Luka, the city almost revolted with Luka getting traded to the Lakers. If Micah Parsons, who we all know the Cowboys are, as big of a star Luka is, he can't get anywhere near to the stardom of a Dallas Cowboy in the city of Dallas. If they trade the best player, not only on the team, but possibly one of the best players they've had in a decade in Micah Parsons, you trade him to another team, come on, man.
He's going to get paid regardless.
He's going to get paid.
Yeah, I mean, even if you trade him, he's going to get paid. But the thing you don't want to do is you don't want to go out and see. I mean, that
Exactly.
Herschel Walker, I played with him in Minnesota.
Yeah.
I was in training camp with him when I was there. And he wasn't the same Herschel Walker. He had played in the USFL, and he was kind of beat up. He wasn't a franchise changing guy. So you got a haul for him, and then you end up winning the Super Bowl, but you had the right coach. You had the right quarterback.
A lot of things went into that.
You had the right personnel. But you're not going to get that from Michael Parsons. You can go out and get you two first round guys, and then maybe a 3 or something like that. But man, you better off keeping this guy.
Yeah, teams aren't making those type of trades that they made. The Herschel Walker trade, it's still one of the biggest trades in history for a reason. Teams not making that. They're not giving you 5 first-round picks and handicapping my franchise. And the bad thing is you will want them to get them locked in and signed up on a team because you know exactly where Michael Parsons is going if he becomes a free agent. He's going right to the Commanders with Dan Quinn and going to join that team immediately. So why would you even wait for something like that to play out?
I know they wouldn't trade. I know they wouldn't trade.
They wouldn't trade him, but they're gonna trade him somewhere else. He's gonna play there for 2 years,
and
he's gonna leave and go to Dan Quinn and the Commanders, and he's gonna kill y'all every Sunday. So you know you don't want that to happen, man.
you
so
don't want that,
you just
man.
gotta get this guy locked in.
You don't want an angry Michael Parsons playing against him.
Oh no,
You don't
because
wanna take
he's getting better still, y'all. We forget that the dude is 26 years old because of how great he's played so far in his career, but he's getting better still. I feel like majority of what he does now is still just pure athleticism. The more he starts to learn and figure out the game and the tricks of the trade of pass rushing, man, it's only going to get scarier from here. Jerry, you got to get this guy signed up, man. I don't know what's going on. Saying that there's no chance of him playing in week 1 should be an issue. That should be alarming. If I'm Brian Schottenheimer, what am I thinking? Because I'm like, this ain't got nothing to do with me. And you telling me I'm not going to have my best player to play against our biggest rival week 1 just because you're upset? And then the whole fan base is going to be mad at me because I lost week 1. Like, that don't make any type of sense. That's a tarnished relationship starting in the making right there between Jerry and his head coach. But like you said, man, this is a TV series, so we'll be keeping up with we don't have to keep up with it. Jerry's going to keep giving us more stuff to talk about because he's going to keep coming out and talking each training camp. I don't think I've heard any other owner talk at training camp besides Jimmy Haslam and some of the things he had to say about Shador. And he's just a whole nother piece in himself with Jimmy Haslam. But I haven't heard any of these owners talk in training camp. Only guy that's got a mic multiple microphones and recorders in front of him every single day in training camp is Jerry Jones. So we'll keep in touch and see what's going on with that. Also in training camp, we all seen the news yesterday. We talked about it here. Shedeur Sanders getting the start for the Cleveland Browns this weekend. Everybody's had differing opinions on this, but the real story is he's getting the start because the other guys are hurt. That's the deal. Now, what do you do with your start is a different story. I said yesterday, the ball is in Shedeur's court now. You got the opportunity. As Rocky said, Monday, football is going football. Guys have gotten out the way, whether the Browns wanted them to or didn't. Injuries have now presented a space for Shedeur, who hasn't got any first-team reps in practice, who they barely gave reps to at all the first 2 weeks. Now he has to go and play, to the point that you had to go sign somebody off the street that's going to be in camp for 3 days and have to play a whole half of football probably, and Snoop Huntley they just signed a couple of days ago. What was your thoughts when you seen Shedeur getting his start on Friday for the Cleveland Browns against the Panthers?
Well, it's really not a big deal. I mean, it's preseason, and so now you try guys on the field that's trying to make the team, and you just try because none of this win-loss thing goes into effect in preseason.
Yeah.
It's all about and the thing about Shedeur is it's one of those guys that he's got the spotlight on him. That's why we're talking about. That's why it's a big deal, because he does have a spotlight on him. This is a guy that was everybody went into last season saying that was going to be the first pick in the draft.
Yeah, absolutely.
Falling all the way to a 5th round pick. So that's why it's big news. And you want to see how he's going to go out there and he's going to handle himself. And I think he's going to go out and he's going to be poised, but this is his opportunity. This is his opportunity to shut up all the critics, or it'll give him people more things to talk about.
Yep.
But I think his biggest thing is going to be timing with the first teamers, getting the ball out of his hand, and just taking what they give you, basically.
Yeah.
Taking what they give you. If they give you the check down, just take the check down. Don't try to overplay yourself trying to throw the ball downfield. You go in and you play the way you practice, and you just go in, you take what they give you, and I think he'll be all right. I think he'll be poised, but it is big news. I want to see the guy go out and go 20 for 20.
Yeah.
And if he goes and does that, it's gonna get people gonna talk about him regardless. But I'd rather them say good things about him rather than all the bad stuff that we've heard.
Yeah.
And Shedeur, go out there and take care of your business, man. Just go take care of your business. Just be a leader. Be a leader and take what they give you.
I mean, you said all the right things. First off, he just got to go out there and worry about performing, like you said. Just perform to the best of your abilities. Get that timing down. Don't be scared to take the check downs. Don't be scared to do the right play, because we talked about this a little bit Monday with Rocky on the show. The coaches that come from this Sean McVay tree / Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan tree, that's really what it all stems from. They love quarterbacks that can run an offense as opposed to just, the greatest quarterback out there that's available. They like guys. You think about the McVay tree. Yeah, they want efficient guys that can just get through the offense. That's why the guy in Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota. That's why he loves Sam Darnold so much.
Yeah,
that's why they drafted J.J. McCarthy. Yeah, that's why Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco loves Garoppolo. They love guys that can run that system
and run the system and play to the system. Then you'll be okay. That's why I say you take the check downs. You take what they give you. Going into preseason, all of the defenses are vanilla anyway. You're gonna get cover 1, cover 2. You're gonna get the base defenses. You're not gonna get the real deal. You may get a little blitzing or what have you, but basically it's gonna be all basic, just football. Cover 1, cover 2. Cover 3, a lot of zone. Nobody's going to show what they're going to do during the season right now. So he'll have an opportunity to go out and be efficient and do those things and just be the leader. Like you said, just be efficient and go out and lead your offense. Don't turn the ball over. Just take what they give you. And if they don't give you anything, throw the ball away.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you.
It's as simple as that.
Simple as
You
that.
don't want to go out there and ruin your reputation by trying to stretch the field the whole time
Overdoing it, yeah.
and throw a couple of picks and you don't want to do that. If you go out there and just run through the system and in these type of, like I said, these West Coast offense type of deals, all you got to do is go through the check downs, go through somebody's going to be open. Every play they scheme it up to where no matter the defense that's out there, they'll give you a chance to do some pre-snap stuff as well. He'll be able to read, okay, is it two high safeties? Is the guy coming to he'll get a chance to do all of those things that you don't necessarily get a great chance to do in practice. He'll get a chance to do those things in this preseason game. So that's what I really want to see from Shedeur. The quarterback situation it's really just chaotic at this point. Like I've said on the show, for those of you that watch all the time, the Browns don't know what they're doing. We keep trying to depict well, maybe they thought this when they picked this guy. Maybe when they got Kenny Pickett, maybe they were just picking guys. Maybe that's what they were doing. I think that's exactly what happened. There was no reason for them if you planned on taking Shedeur in the fifth, there was no reason for them to take Dylan Gabriel in the first. If you planned on trading for Kenny Pickett, there was no reason to sign Joe Flacco. But I don't think they planned on really any of this stuff. I think it kind of just all happened. And now they're to the point where they have 6 quarterbacks on their roster, and only 2 can play on Friday.
Because Deshaun Watson was hurt, and you knew he was going to be out the whole season. This is a guy you're paying a lot of money to. So you can't really afford to go out and do anything else because his cap hit is going to be so heavy on you that these guys are only going to be backups anyway until you can get rid of this cap hit. And I think they'll do that this year, but you're not in a situation where you're really going to go out and win games. You were in the playoffs 2 years ago, and then you regressed last year to not being in the playoffs. So I don't see it as a playoff roster. You don't have the guys that compete to be a playoff roster this year. So why not just take a chance on a young quarterback? I know you went out and signed Pickett to do it, but if Pickett is just as good as Shedeur or Gabriel, then I want to go with my young guy and get him acclimated to being my starter for the future because we can't really do anything until we get rid of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
But they're going to have a situation next year. But this year, I would try to just groom me a quarterback, and Flacco is going to be the man.
Yeah. Flacco's
he has the most experience.
Yeah, for sure.
And he played well with him last year, and he's won a Super Bowl. So he's going to be that guy. And regardless what we think, I think they should trade Kenny Pickett, and I think they should keep the 2 younger guys behind him and let them learn behind Flacco.
Because those are the only guys that have any type of building for the future. You know Kenny Pickett's not your future. Obviously, this is most likely Joe Flacco's last year, so he's not your future. If you can keep Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel and get those guys up to speed on a rookie contract, a cheap rookie contract, because that's super important when you got to pay out Deshaun Watson over these next couple of years a crazy amount of money. You need guys that can be cheap and that you can build on for the future. Those are the only 2 guys in that room that you can do that with. So you got to develop these guys. I know they wanted Gabriel to play out there as well, but there's no reason to play him out there with a hamstring injury and send him out there to play on a hamstring injury right now in week 1 of preseason. That's not going to benefit you anything. So they're trying to sit him out some. Maybe they'll try to get him acclimated 2nd week or 3rd week of preseason as well before they go back out there. But, man, I'm like you. Let's get these young guys in there and let's see what they can do. Joe Flacco's probably not going to play the whole preseason because they know what Joe Flacco is already. Yeah. They already know what he is. Yeah. He's been in this system for almost 2 years now. He knows He knows the plays. He knows what guys want to do. He knows what Coach Kevin Stefanski wants to do. More importantly, he's going to be the day one guy.
And like you said, football is just football.
Yeah.
I don't care what level you go to. I mean, the schemes become more complex, but football is football. If you've been playing football all your life, you just go out there and you compete with the other guys. Absolutely. Football is football, and that's how you have to think about it. But these younger 2 guys, you're gonna have to rely on them at some point because you don't want Deshaun Watson back. Flacco might be his this last year.
Yep.
And you're only one play from Flacco getting hurt or something happening to him, injury, to having to use one of those guys.
Yeah.
Because Kenny Pickett is hurt right now, and this is a guy you paid some money to come over. I think $16 million a year or something like that. which is not too cap heavy. But I mean, he's in your locker room, and you obviously gave him a bonus. So, but I'm thinking if you trade this guy and then you go with Flacco, and then you develop these younger two guys behind him, and then you kind of decide on that. But tomorrow night, I think that's when they play.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night.
Or Friday. No, they play Friday. They play Friday.
So Friday night, Shador gets his opportunity to go out there, and I hope he makes a strong showing and goes out there and does his thing, man, because he has so many critics and so many people that's rooting against him. I'm rooting for him, and I hope he goes out and does well.
Yeah, I'm the same way, man. Shador, it's your time now. We can't defend him or try to put anything in front of him or behind him at this point. The 5th round pick stuff, none of that stuff matters anymore. Now they just throwing the football out there. It's time to see what you can do. That game is going to be on Friday. I think it's 6 o'clock. Like I said, easily going to be the most watched preseason game probably in NFL history. With that game with all the different eyeballs, everybody wants to see what is Shador going to do this Friday. So we'll wait to see what's going to happen this weekend. Want to hit a couple local topics here, folks, while we got some time. Josh Cameron for the Baylor Bears, the receiver, standout receiver and punt returner, on the Belindakoff watch list for this upcoming season after having a standout great season last year. What do you think Josh Cameron brings to this Baylor Bears team? Because last year they didn't really know who to go with at receiver. They had a lot of older guys at receiver, and Josh Cameron, who was a little bit further down the depth chart, kind of rose up and took off last year.
He has that explosiveness.
Yeah.
He's a deep threat guy, and he's the most exciting offensive player to me. And he's one of those guys, once he can catch it or touch it anywhere on the field, and he can take it the distance. So he's that guy for them. I watched the young man last year. You know, locally, when you're at home, you get to see what goes on with your local team. Even though I'm a Texas Tech guy, I'm still rooting for Baylor and watching these guys play. And he's explosive, and you can't keep him off the field. And that's how he rose to get on the field, because he has that explosiveness.
Yeah,
it's like you say, you get that one opportunity and you make something happen, and then they start relying on you more and more and more. But he's that guy for them, and deservingly so. I mean, whether it's punt returns, whether it's throwing to him deep, or if it's throwing to him intermediate, and the run after the catch, this guy's explosive, and he deserves to be on that list. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings this year, and year 2 with Baylor and the same quarterback. So I'm anxious to see what this guy does, but I think his ceiling is very, very high.
Yeah, I agree. I think he definitely is deserving of being on that list. It's something different when you see the guys that work hard, that wasn't the 5-star coming in, wasn't a big name guy. I mean, he, like I said last year, he was projected to be the 3rd, 4th, 5th option, maybe even on the team. You had, all those transfers that came in, Keytron Jackson and Ashton Hawkins, who's back on the team, and Monterey Baldwin, and all these guys that were supposed to be in front of him. Man, Josh Cameron got his opportunity coming from special teams, really got his first opportunities from returning punts, and they saw what he could do after that. Took a couple balls to the house, man, and from there, it's been takeoff, and can't wait to see him in this offense this year. Bryson Washington back in the second year of this offense. Sawyer Robertson, we've talked about him before on this show and what they can do to this offense. I'm excited for this Baylor team and what this offense can do. Baylor has come out, or one of the networks that break down college football has put Baylor as having one of the toughest schedules in the entire country for this upcoming year. They're right up there with teams like Miami, TCU, and Clemson for having the toughest schedule in the entire conference. Now, I've said before, this is definitely Baylor's toughest pre-division or pre-conference schedule I think I've seen in years. When you start the season off with Auburn, who has made a big push in the offseason in the transfer portal as far as bringing some guys in, and then the next week right after that, you go up to Dallas and play SMU. That's a tough pre-conference schedule to start it off. And I've said we're going to figure out who this Baylor team is through the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season.
No doubt about it, man.
Because you got those two guys to start, and then your first conference game is against the Big 12 champs from last year with Arizona State, who's going to be coming to McLean Stadium. That's their 4th game of the season. Then you got Oklahoma State in between there. Right after that, You got Kansas State at home. So we're gonna figure out who this Baylor team is really, really early on in the season. But already getting picked as as the toughest schedule in the Big 12.
Yeah, no doubt.
What do you think about this Baylor schedule and how they're starting the season off?
Man, I mean, you start off with one of a Southeast Conference SEC opponent that's going to be very physical, and then you go and you play against a team last year that was one of the top 4. I mean, in the Final Four. You know, as far as football,
Yeah.
that is in the College Bowl series. So, man, like you said, you're gonna find out if they for real or not. You know, they could possibly be 0-2.
Yeah.
You know, to start the season, or you know they can all the people that's skeptical of them. Yeah, they can be 2-0.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you just never know. And one thing about Baylor, they played their best football at the end of the year
Yes,
last
they did.
year. So if they can carry that over from last year to this year, you still have to play the game.
Yeah,
Nobody
yeah,
knows
yeah,
what's
yeah.
going to happen.
Nobody.
Everybody is 0-0 right now. That's the good thing about
Yeah.
football, and we can predict and and do all those things, and none of that matters. None of that matters. You still have to go out and play the game. So long as they're 0-2 and everybody's preparing for the same thing. Everybody's getting their mental together, getting physical together, and now it's time to go out and see what you got. And we'll see. We'll see week 1. It depends on how they go out and play Auburn. If they go out and they beat a team like Auburn, that could get them momentum going into the rest of the season and beating anybody.
Anybody.
You know, if you go and you take a tough loss against Auburn, then it can trend the other way. But right now, everybody is 0-0, and we won't know anything until after that first game. But they do have a tough schedule, so it can get you can go from bad to worse.
Yeah, quickly can go from bad to worse. And that's kind of what happened last year. They started off with 2 easy opponents. I think they played Tarleton State and Air Force, and then from there it went downhill quickly. They had to go to Utah to play at Utah, and that kind of got them into a slide. They lost to Utah, they lost to BYU, they lost to Iowa State, back to back, and they were all bad losses. Then they lost to Colorado, so it kind of set them back and then from there they had to build on it. This year gives you the opposite opportunity of, man, if you could come out 2-0,
Right.
out of that first week, you have confidence to beat anybody
Yeah.
for the rest of the season.
Confidence, yeah. I mean, like I say, it can go from bad to worse, or it can go from good to great.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, honestly.
So, man, I'm rooting for them, and like I say, we'll find out that first week and see how they match up against Auburn, because you know when you playing a Southeast Conference opponent that it's going to be a physical football game, and that's what you need to look for. I mean, you talking about guys that's in the trenches, defensive line, offensive line that dominates, and you're talking about one of the top teams in the SEC as far as Auburn over the last 10 years. So I know they kind of retooling, they rebuilding, but you know they're in the state of Alabama with the Crimson Tide. So this is who they recruit against, and they're in the Southeast Conference. So they're going to be a tough opponent. But like I said, if Baylor can carry that momentum that they had from last year into this year, and those guys, because now you get year 2 of some guys, even like Cameron.
Yeah.
This year 2 for him. So now you go into another off season where you're in the weight room and you get faster, you get bigger, you get stronger, and then you kind of figure things out. So if those guys take that jump and they take that leap, there's no telling what Baylor can do. And I'm hoping they beat Auburn. It'll be good for Baylor, and it'll be good for the Big 12. So.
Absolutely. If the Big 12 can get off on an SEC team to start the season off, that's going to instill confidence in everybody in the Big 12, honestly, when you see your teams go out there and battle against another conference. So I'm super excited to see it. Like you said, Wayne, we don't know what's going to happen. It's still we're not even made it to week 1 yet. Everybody's 0-0. Last year proved that in the Big 12. Everybody picked Oklahoma State to win and Arizona State to be last place, and they flip-flopped. So that shows that in the Big 12 we have no idea what's going to happen. While we're talking a little bit of college football here, I want to look at this AP coaches poll to start the season off. I'll let you look at this one. To start the season off, to look at some of these teams, I think yesterday we kind of agreed on the show that the top 5, I kind of agree with the top 5 and where they placed some of these guys at. Really, for the top 10, I think it's a really good list, as a matter of fact, where they place guys, having Texas number 1, Ohio State number 2. You could flip-flop those, obviously. Ohio State coming off a national championship. But Texas bringing back the most production because Ohio State lost a lot of those guys that won that national championship for them last year. Penn State, Georgia, Notre Dame. Obviously, any of those are interchangeable as well. I like Clemson being up as high as where they are because I think Clemson can really have a really good season this year. I think they're probably bringing back the best quarterback in the country, in my opinion, in Cade Klubnik, coming back in Clemson. Oregon and Alabama, LSU, I think is going to have a really good year. I don't start to disagree until we start to get into the teams a little bit. I think Illinois is a little bit high. I get it. I think they're bringing back the most starting production in Power 4. They're getting back majority of their guys on both sides of the ball, and that's rare in this transfer portal day. And there, so I get it, but I think 12 is a little bit high. Same with Michigan. I understand they retooled a little bit. They go and get Bryce Underwood, one of the top quarterbacks coming out of high school, and they're talking about starting him as a true freshman. But I can't forget some of that offense that I seen last year from Michigan. Offense did not look good at multiple points. I think SMU could have maybe took him one of those spots at 12 or at 14 where Michigan is. And I think Indiana could have been a little bit higher on the Big Ten list considering the amount of guys they're bringing back as well. They had a better season than Illinois and Michigan last year. So I thought some of those guys could have been higher. But for the most part, I like the list. Those are just some of the couple of things that I disagree with. Who are some of the teams you think could have been higher or lower on this list? With the first AP's coaches poll that they put out.
Yeah, to me, I think South Carolina played very well last year.
They did.
And they're 13th. Yeah. And of course you're gonna have 8, 9 SEC teams in the poll. But none of this means nothing. None of it means nothing because you still have to go out and play.
Yeah.
And I see my Red Raiders on the list at 24.
Yeah, they made it in. I don't know how Boise State made it. That's one of the other ones that threw me off at 25. I mean,
well, Boise State is always a tough opponent.
Yeah, they are. They are.
I was talking to when you talk about Boise and I was, I was in Idaho and I was in Boise. And these people were talking. I got this guy, and he was telling me about Boise State. And we going back and forth, and I'm telling them about Texas Tech.
Yeah.
And Boise State is just that team that out of that conference recruits better than anybody.
Oh, for sure.
And they play good football. They play good football. They really do. So they teeter on the borderline of being a top 25 team and kind of out, but they are a top 50 team in the country.
Oh, for sure.
And
for sure.
I'm gonna give them that credit.
Yeah.
But when we talk about the polls and everything like that, you have to play your way into those to number 1. Texas is gonna stay number 1 until they have to face Georgia, Alabama, or Florida, LSU, or whoever they have to play, or A&M. I see A&M on the list.
Yeah, A&M's up there too, 21.
So all that stuff is going to change. I remember when I was in school and we went into the season and we were like I think we was like number 18 or something like that. And guys were all happy and this, that, and other. And by the time the season was over, we wasn't in the top 25.
Yeah.
But you have to go out and play. And everybody was all happy. And then, you jumping up and, oh, man, we preseason 18.
Yeah.
We preseason 18. Well, I don't care how we start. It's all about the way you finish.
Absolutely.
And we didn't finish 18. So that's the same way that list is going to be. You just have to play your way through it. And like all that's going to be mumbo jumbo. And,
Yeah.
and now that we got this college football bowl series, and I think there's the top 16 or top 12.
It's still 12. Yeah, it's still
12.
top 12.
And then they're going to go to 16, I think, in a couple of years. But, You just want to be one of those teams at the end of the season that get
Absolutely.
in to be one of those 12 guys that's playing in that series. For
Yeah,
a national championship.
this list is gonna change. Last year, I think they said 13 of the top 25 that started out last year did not finish ranked. So that means
That's exactly what I'm saying. I mean,
that's over half the list did not even finish ranked last year. We saw Florida State was ranked top 10. We know how that is. Oklahoma was ranked top 10. We know how that – it was multiple teams that started off ranked that did not finish ranked. So we know that doesn't mean anything. This just gives us something to talk about the first 3 weeks until they decide to play on, I believe, August 23rd is going to be our first game, the week 0 on there. But, yeah, man, the first AP coaches poll, for the most part, I think that they got most of that right. Want to switch over and talk about some quick takes, folks, while we have some time here left on the show. Talk about some things going on around the world of sports. First off, we touched on preseason a little bit earlier, talking about some preseason football in the NFL. And there's been a lot of back and forth really over the last couple of years. How much preseason should guys play and should they not play? I'm a guy that believes, obviously I did not play anywhere near the NFL, but I believe that you got to have some type of preseason on to be able to get into shape. The only way you get into shape, same with basketball or any other sport, is by playing the game. So you got to go out there and play some of preseason. I don't think I seen, Herm Edwards came on and said they played 6 preseason games when he was playing and he had to play all 6. I don't know if they should go back to doing it that much, but you got to get some type of burn. Yeah, you risk too much injury playing that much.
And when I played, it was 4.
Yeah.
And for me and a guy in my position, that's how I made the team, because I was able to play in the preseason and I shined.
Yeah.
So, but I wasn't one of those core guys that you knew was going to be on the team. A lot of teams that know who's going to be on their team. And now it's an opportunity for those guys that are free agents and the guys that was drafted to go out and show what they can do. And so those guys really need the most playing time. But as starters, you still have to get your time. You still have to get your rhythm. You have to get in game shape. And the only way you can get in game shape and work on your timing and your rhythm is to play.
Yeah.
So I think it used to be when I played, the starters would play the first half, and then they would, the second half was for all the younger guys. So I think you need to play four quarters of football. The first quarter, the first half of the first and second preseason game, and then you don't play anymore.
Yeah. I agree with that.
And I think that's a good assessment of getting yourself football ready, getting yourself game ready, because that's what it's all about, man. You can practice all you want to, but when you get in the game, man, and it's game speed and the adrenaline is flowing, you are tired.
Yeah,
man. You're tired, man. I'm telling you. I mean, because your adrenaline is flowing so much.
Yeah.
You're just tired, and
body's drained after that.
You're going 100% on each play. You can't take plays off when you get in game situations. So that's why you should practice like you play, and that's why you need to play some preseason games to get yourself in game shape.
Yeah,
because after you get those first about 3 or 4 games, after them first 3 or 4 games, then you're ready to go.
Yeah, you're running through the motions at that point.
So now that's what you need to do. You need to start getting yourself into shape now and get you about a game in, and that's about 4 quarters out of these. I think they play 3 preseason games now.
Yeah, it's 3. Yeah.
So and those first 2 you need to play. I think starters need to play. If a guy is nursing an injury or something like that, you set him out or whatever. But if you're healthy, you can go in and you can play a quarter, or you can play 2 quarters or whatever. So I wouldn't do that with my quarterback, because I don't want to get my quarterback hurt. But everything is going to be vanilla right now. Everything is going to be – it's not going to be any blitzing. It's not going to be anything. It's just going to be base defenses and base offenses. So I think like a quarter or 2.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think guys need to get in about it. Like I said yesterday on the show, especially the first half and one of those preseason games, because you got to get your body ready to get hit first off, because you're just thudding out there in practice, against your own teammates. You're not really hitting like that. Get your body used to getting hit, get back in game shape, game speed. Getting game speed reps, I think, is important, especially when you have young guys on offense, like a young quarterback or maybe even young receivers, young running backs. Getting that timing down, I think, is huge. So they definitely should play. I feel like you just said, a couple of games in the preseason for sure. Get a quarter in, get a half in. To just not play at all and then go out there and expect to be in shape and be ready.
Tough,
I think that's too much on the body. And for the coaches that won't let guys play, because most of these guys want to play, but the coaches, we don't want to let you go out there too early.
I mean, you
think
fear
you're hurting
injury.
that guy.
You fear injury with some of your core guys and some of your better guys. And for a guy that's been in the league 10 years or more, no, you don't play him because you know this guy is going to be ready to go, Or a guy that's been in the league 5 years or more.
Exactly.
They know what it takes to get in shape. They know what it's like. They've been there. So maybe those guys go out and get them a quarter in this game and then a quarter in one game or something like that. And what they done and how long they've been in the league.
That's a big part. Who it is, because some guys, you need to let them go out there and get some rest. They been drinking all summer and stuff like that. They showed up some of the workout. You need to get out here and run a little bit, bro. Definitely.
But
I
getting
think some of these
in game
guys.
shape is the biggest thing.
In game shape,
Man, it's the biggest thing ever.
Yeah, that's what everybody talks about. That game shape is completely, no matter how many hills you run and the parachute you run with, that in game shape is it's a different beast right there.
When you got somebody you going against him full speed and he's going against you full speed.
That's too different. You can't simulate that. No matter how much you try to go out there and run. So preseason starts tomorrow. Few games will be on tomorrow. The majority of the teams will play on Friday and a couple on Saturday as well this weekend. So I'm super excited to see some of this preseason football. Talking about some training camp news here. Keenan Allen signs back with your Chargers, man. I thought this was a huge, huge pickup. I just talked about last week on the show how there were some really good free agent receivers that could help some teams out. Amari Cooper being one of them, Keenan Allen being one of them. Now to see him back signed with the Chargers, I think is great for him and his career because he's familiar with the area. He's familiar with everything. Probably just going back to his old house. Don't have to figure out where he wants to stay. He probably was already out there to start with. He probably was already out in L.A. But to think what he brings back to this offense, an offense that needed pass catchers last year. They made it to the playoffs, won 11 games with limited options at pass catchers. Obviously, Lad McConkey took off as a rookie last year. But you bring in a true route running savant, in my opinion, and a guy like Keenan Allen, a guy that can dominate the slot. You pair him on the other side with the Lad McConkeys. They drafted a big frame receiver out of Ole Miss and Trey Harris to bring him into that group too. I thought this was a great pick. What do you think about Keenan Allen coming back?
The Chargers is my team.
Yeah.
They needed him. Mm-hmm. They needed him more than he needed them.
Yes.
And you got a guy that's dependable, a guy that's already familiar. I don't know if he's familiar with Harbaugh's system, but it's a guy that's got familiarity with Justin Hubert. And so he can go out and and he's a veteran, and he's dependable. So this guy, you needed him.
Yes.
You needed him. Like you said, Lad McConkey, he's been that guy, and he's a tough little guy that can go across the middle. He's not a speed demon or anything like that, but he runs precise routes. He knows how to get open, and that's what it's all about. Now you bring in a guy that's a big body guy that can do the same thing, can get open, and that has a little speed that can do different things. But they needed this pickup, and it's a good pickup for the Chargers, and I'm glad they did it, man, because I think it'll make them a better football team. You want to be physical, you want to run the ball, but the NFL is such a great league that they can take away things, and if they want to take away the run, they can put 9 and they can put 8 in the box and then force you to throw the ball.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what they're going to do because you want to be physical. Teams are not going to let you just be physical. So they're going to force you to throw the ball. And so now you got reliable guys that can go and catch the ball and get open.
Yeah, I agree. I think this definitely adds to their offense. It's a big-time piece for Justin Herbert, though, just to see him get another guy that can create, that can get open. When you need those third and 6, those 3rd and 4s, and you just need somebody to get open. I mean, we're talking about an option route king and somebody like Keenan Allen, somebody that you just give him an option route. He's going to find a way to get open, especially playing against the zone or even in a man situation, he's an instant man beater out there. So I like that pickup with him.
Reliable.
To go out with Justin Herbert out there. A lot of guys, have given up on Justin Herbert because of his playoff woes and stuff like that. For that, I would just say, please go back and look at some of those first few years for Peyton Manning and the struggles he had in the playoffs. You can't give up on a guy because he struggled in their first or second playoff game. Like Justin Herbert is still like 25, 26 years old. He's got a lot of football left in front of him. And we saw when he was running that offense to a T last year, the Chargers were almost unstoppable. And that was without having the full complement of weapons. Now Harbaugh is building out the system that he wants to have. He went and got the running backs he wanted with Najee Harris and drafted Omarion Hampton, drafted a tight end to bring out there. This team is starting to take shape around what he wants to do now. And I think the Chargers are going to be dangerous, and they just get a little more dangerous now adding Keenan Allen.
I think it's going to be them, Denver, and the Chiefs. That's
Denver's looking like some monsters out there too.
Yeah, and then you talk about the Chiefs that just came, that just went to that third Super Bowl in a row. You have to dethrone the champs, and they got some teams in the West that can do it in the AFC
and
West.
It might just be preseason or training camp, and I'm looking too deep into it, but the Raiders are starting to grow on me. The Raiders are starting to grow. I've been watching their practices and stuff. Pete Carroll knows what he's doing.
Oh, man.
I think Geno Smith is a competent quarterback, which means a lot in the NFL. When you got a quarterback that can run an offense, they're going to let Ashton Genty loose out there. They got the best young tight end in the league in Brock Bowers. The Raiders starting to grow on me. I don't think they're going to do anything as far as making the playoffs, but I think they're going to be competitive in some of these games going out there.
They'll be a lot better than they were last year.
Yes, I agree. I definitely agree with that.
I think they'll have a 3-game turnaround. They'll win an additional 3 games than what they won last year.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that.
And I think that's the Pete Carroll effect. I think that's the Geno Smith effect. And what they're building out there, bringing in a running back that's an every down back. You got your young tight end. Now you got your tight end quarterback, and I think they're a little short on receivers. They got Myers, but I think you need some guy that can stretch the field, and they don't have that yet. But they do have the best tight end, one of the best tight ends in the league, I think. So I think they'll rely on him, and I think they'll be a lot better. And Pete Carroll is a defensive coach.
Yes.
So they're going to be better on that side of the ball. So, man, hey, at AFC West,
it's
Chargers,
a beast.
Man, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
The AFC West is going to be a beast every single week. I can't wait to see that. And all of those teams will be in action this weekend. I want to play a quick clip that I seen a couple of days ago. I think it was yesterday I seen this with the Auburn head coach, Bruce Pearl, making some questionable comments talking about former President Barack Obama and some of his views on how he felt about this. So I'm going to play a quick clip about some of the things Bruce Pearl came out and said. Like I said, I believe this clip was from a couple of days ago.
I get so frustrated when I hear what a terrible country we are, how racist we are. I thought in so many ways, rather than uniting us as a country, even by race, he divided us. Everything was black and white. Everything was the obstacles that were against, my players from being successful. I'm trying to teach my guys, look, I don't want you working at Subway. I want you owning 5 of them. And that's possible. I think in many ways, Barack Obama told a different story.
So those are his very, very opinionated comments there from Bruce Pearl.
That's deep.
For my first question is just, why are we even talking about that? I didn't watch the entire interview, but I'm wondering, how did it even get to this point to where they're not talking about basketball and talking about who divided the country? And to bring up Obama as the reason,
10 years ago.
The guy literally was the president a decade ago. How did he get brought up as the divisiveness that's going on in this country? Well, first off, Bruce, you work at a school, so you should probably do a little bit of research. The divisiveness didn't start in 2016 or 2008 or 2012 when Obama was there. The divisiveness started when this country was built in 1776. So to blame Obama for the divisiveness in this country and saying, oh, well, he's talking about the prejudice against my players, that's because your players are black and there are prejudices that happened against black people in this country. That's why he would say something like that.
Especially in Alabama.
It's 100% in Alabama. I think it's so distasteful to where you're coaching at, to what you're coaching. You know, I've always said this. That's just my opinion, but it's strange to see a sport that's dominated by white males as coaches when 90% of the players are black guys. Not saying that there's something wrong. I'm just saying when you say things like this, now your players have to look, what are they supposed to think? You're saying that Obama is the reason for the divisiveness in this country. For one, this should never be brought up in a basketball interview. Yeah. I'm sure they brought you on whatever show you were on to talk about basketball since you're a basketball coach. Mm-hmm. And you come out and somehow start blaming Obama for what's wrong in the world when this dude ain't even been the president in a decade. And clearly there's been some other things that's happened with the current president and now his second term. What was your thoughts on Bruce Pearl's comments about Obama?
Man, he's going to have to issue an apology.
Yeah,
at some point.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
We talking about, if you talk about now, you talking about we got a man in the White House right now that, and I don't even understand how as a coach you even talk about politics.
Exactly.
Because you try to stay out of that. You try to stay out of the way of politics. That's your personal beliefs. But when you start to bring it in the fray of your players and this, that, and other, I wouldn't even want my kid to play for a guy like him.
Yeah.
Because you talk about a president that's 10 years ago, okay? And you're not talking about, this is a recent comment. Your recent comments should be talking about now and what we have going on in the White House now.
Yeah.
We're talking about a president that has, that the people of color, and I'm not just talking about black people, I'm talking about Hispanics as well. Mm-hmm. You got running people out the country. Mm-hmm. I mean,
I think that's pretty divisive. You're talking about dividing the country.
Yeah, you got ISIS all over the place, brother. And we had this inclusion program. It was DEI, whatever. And this guy took this away. But
sounds pretty divisive.
Yeah, and that was to, all that was to do was to make even the playing field.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all it was about. Mm-hmm. Now the playing field is not even anymore. And then you got a guy that's, his dictatorship and the things that's going on in the White House now are way above what Obama did. And I don't know how you can come out and you can make a statement like that. I wouldn't even want to play. I used to respect Bruce Pearl, but that respect is gone for me. And I'm just being honest.
Yeah, I don't even understand. You brought it up. The first point is, how does this even get brought up in a basketball interview? You should, when your players go to media training, they're taught to steer away from things like this. But then here you are as a head coach coming out and saying stuff like that and putting names on it. You could have just said some of the presidents before did this to the country, whatever. Right. If you just wanted, but you putting a name on it as if to single him out, like George Bush didn't do anything wrong, like Trump didn't do anything, like Biden didn't do anything wrong. You go back a decade ago to talk about this guy.
You pick on the only black president.
The only one.
So what is divided and what is racist? What is what?
And your explanation for it was just weak, honestly. You saying he made people think by saying, oh, that's you said he made everything black or white. Well, some things were black and white just because you felt uncomfortable.
It's been black and white since we came to this country.
That's what it's been. You made it. The problem is, Bruce Pearl, and it's not just you, it's a lot of guys in this country. People talking about those type of things make you uncomfortable. So when it makes you uncomfortable, you're saying now he's dividing people. No, he's just making you think a little bit deeper than surface level on some issues. Maybe some issues are black and white. This obviously isn't a political show, but that was pretty crazy, man, to see him come out and say this. And I think this is something that's going to have a lot of backlash on him in the long run, especially coaching at a place like Auburn. You're in, unfortunately, one of the most racist states we have to offer in America. And that's where you're going to come off. And I'm sure there's a lot of people at Auburn that back you up on your opinion on what you're saying. But I don't know if it's those players, those black players that are playing on your team. They got parents, too. Yeah. They know people too as well, and they have their own experiences to go through.
And you just can't say that as a coach.
No,
you can't say that as a coach today because, like you say, one of the things that you were always coached up on when you went to the pro, you can be direct But one of the things that you always want to stay away from is politics.
Yeah. Yes.
And because that's your personal, and you keep it personal. And I see his personal has come public.
Yes.
And that's a problem.
Hey, you got a little bit too comfortable, man. I get it. You're a long 10-year coach, and you've gotten pretty comfortable now over the years and feel like I can say what I want to say. But it's going to be some backlash for this one, buddy. I hate to break it to you. I don't know how it even got to that point, but definitely we'll be hearing more about those comments, I'm sure, as the story starts to blow up more and more. I thought the story was old because I didn't hear anything about it. And then after reading that and watching that video and seeing that it was just from a couple of days ago, it's kind of shocking, man. So we'll be keeping an eye on that with Bruce Pearl. One more comment I want to bring up. Our video I saw, Jamar Chase talking about his quarterback. We're really talking about Josh Allen. He was asked about Josh Allen in his MVP season, and he had some things to say on the comparison between his quarterback and the Josh Allen. So I'm going to play that clip really quick and get you guys' opinion on really what was Jamar talking about here on the comparison with Joe Burrow and with Josh Allen.
Honestly, I feel like he has it all: the timing, accuracy, the placement, the speed, the awareness.
He has it all.
The field recognition. I mean, what else? He audibles in the backfield.
Well, I get this idea
When you
like
turn
this,
on
you
Joe
guys
tape,
can't.
it's different from Josh Allen's tape. Completely different. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. People game plan against Josh Allen, not against Joe Burrow. You play against his game weapon. You know what I'm saying? So that's a difference.
So it seemed like a pretty normal comment until we got to about the end there, and he was talking about Josh Allen, giving Josh Allen some praise. Nothing crazy about that. He just won the MVP. Giving Josh Allen some praise there for his recent success, and then he went on to say, Josh tapes look completely different than Joe Burrow's tape. Even when it was to that point, I was like, okay, yeah, it is two different styles of play. I get it. But then when you come out and say teams don't game plan against Joe Burrow, they game plan against his weapons, and Josh Allen you have to game plan against. That's when I started to raise some antennas and was like, okay, what's going on here with Joe Burrow and with Jamar Chase? And is Wayne, you were a receiver and you've had plenty of receiver and quarterback relationships. That kind of caught me off guard there towards the end. Jamar Chase's comments about Joe Burrow and about Josh Allen comparison.
Well, yeah, and I can tell you exactly what this guy was saying, man. Everybody's going to cheer for their quarterback. Mm-hmm. But he's right. They're two different quarterbacks.
Two different, for sure.
They're two different quarterbacks. Josh Allen relies on his legs a lot.
Yes.
That can get him out of trouble. Joe Burrow can't do that. And so you do have to prepare for him differently.
Yeah.
And like I say, you have to keep a spy on Josh Allen.
At all times, yeah.
But you don't have to do that with Joe Burrow. So you're trying to defend him as a pass defense because you know this guy can spin it. He can throw the ball downfield, and he's going to make the right reads, and he has great receivers.
Yeah.
So you had to prepare more for not Joe Burrow, but you had to prepare for the weapons around him. You had to Jamar Chase, you had to prepare for him.
Definitely.
You had to game plan for him. T. Higgins, you had to game plan for him and what they do. So he's exactly right, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a knock against Josh Allen. I don't think it's a knock against Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
He's exactly right. I mean, and he knows better than anybody because he's there.
He sees it every day.
He sees it every
Since
day.
college. He's seen it.
Yeah.
With Joe, I'm like you. I agree with him, but I think the context was the way it sounded will be taken out of context of what he was trying to say. But he was trying to say exactly what you just said. They're two completely different quarterbacks. When you talk about how you game plan for them, they'll take off with the comments of him saying you don't have to game plan for Joe Burrow, but he's talking about your entire. When you play the Bills, the entire defense is centered around one guy. Where's 17 at on the field?
Right.
When you play the Bengals, you're not worried about where's Joe Burrow at on the field because you have to worry about where's Jamar Chase, where's T. Higgins lined up. Joe Burrow can make every throw. We've seen that last year. He led the league in passing. Probably had his best year he's had as a pro. Unfortunately, his defense let him down, which they're going to do again this year since they can't get anybody signed to the Bengals. The only pass rusher they got on the team, they can't even get him signed. But it's two completely different looks when you talk about those guys. It's so hard whenever you're comparing the four guys. We all got the same top four, I think, when everyone's talking about quarterbacks. Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow, I think, have solidified themselves up here, and everyone else is kind of somewhere below in there.
That's Mount Rushmore.
The
present.
Current Mount Rushmore for the quarterbacks going on. And everybody else is kind of a level below that. But they all four bring something so completely and totally different to the game. It's not as easy as comparing Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, because those guys all play similar. Now, these four guys play completely different than each other, Josh Allen and Joe Burrow being a part of that. But I don't think Jamar said anything too crazy there.
I don't. And like you said, they're going to bring it up and they're going to say things, but it's nothing. He was completely right. I mean, you don't have to – you have to prepare for Josh Allen.
Yeah.
If not, he's going to rush for 100 yards on you.
And throw for 250.
You have to keep a spy on him.
Yeah.
You got to try to keep him in the pocket, so you have to rush deep. It's different things. With Joe Burrow, you want to rush up the middle. You want to try to get to his feet.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah.
You don't want him to be able to step up in the pocket. Josh Allen, you want him to be able to step up in the pocket.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's you have to game plan for these guys totally different, and I think that's all he was saying, and I think he was correct and accurate on what he was saying.
We got what you were trying to say, Jamar. They gonna twist your comments a little bit. They gonna just play that last part of the clip, but with the full context, we get what you were trying to say in that video. Teddy Bridgewater is finding himself back into the NFL. He was at Bucs training camp talking about, what he's been in the news for the last few weeks, and that's him being suspended from the high school that he was coaching, high school that he's from, Northwestern High School, that's produced, countless amount of pros down there in South Florida in the Miami area. And he got suspended for trying to help his kids. Really, that's what it came down to the end of the day. He talked about it and was explaining himself and saying, man, I was trying to, y'all are not from the area that I'm from, so y'all don't get it when they're saying, oh, he was buying players Ubers. Y'all act like he was getting them Gucci belts or something like that.
Or he was buying them cars.
Yeah, like he was getting them a ride home because he said walking home in Miami is completely different than walking home in maybe some of the other places when they're out in the country.
Looking out for his players.
All he was doing was looking out for these guys. They suspended him. I thought was one of the weakest moves. I don't know how the school even allowed it. I would have boycotted if I was the school of saying they're not going to go a season without Miami Northwestern playing because they're one of the most popular programs in the nation. So obviously they want them to play. You suspend a guy because of what he's just trying to do for his players, buying them food after a game. Lots of these coaches are buying their players food after the game. I mean, you just don't know that it's coming from their pockets when they feed the whole team. But he's feeding these guys that don't have something to eat when they go home. He's giving these dudes rides that don't have a ride. When we get to the point in football to where that becomes an issue and we're watching, especially in the NIL era, when we're watching guys come out with Lambos and stuff at 18 years old, now it's a problem when a guy buys somebody food or gets them an Uber ride home. I thought that was super weak, but he got a chance to come out and explain himself. What do you think about this whole Teddy Bridgewater situation?
It's so ridiculous, man. Yeah. When you're a coach, you're going to have to come out your pocket one time or another to help someone.
Absolutely.
And like you say, guys, when you talk about Miami and you talk about where they reside in that area, man, kids don't have a lot of resources. Parents don't have cars. Parents don't have money. You talk about kids that's in the projects. You talk about kids at the pork and bean,
Yeah.
And that's an area in Miami that a lot of people don't know about. But, man, it's one of the high crime areas, drug areas. One of those.
Right in Liberty City in Miami,
man. One of those communities that's just poverty is just there.
Yeah.
And so these are the kids that he's dealing with. So, you don't want him to walk home at night. And then he's not feeding just one or two teams. He's feeding all his players, man. And he has the resources to do it. And so you suspend him for that? And if you've been a coach either at any time in your life, you had to do that. I was a youth coach. Mm-hmm. You had to pick him up, take him home. If you want him at practice, anyway.
Yeah.
parents would send them to games without money. Me and Rocky coached the team, man. And we had to be the transportation for our team.
Yeah.
And we had to feed these kids on Saturdays because their parents wouldn't send them to the game with no money, and they had to stay out there with us all day.
All day.
So
That's true.
those are the things that you have to do. Not once did I complain about it. That not once did I see anything wrong with it. It's just coaching, and that's the way it is if you care about people, and he cares about people, and he cares about his players, and he was trying to make it easier for them.
And they won state.
Yeah.
In his first year of coaching.
Yeah.
That's not enough, and that's what made Teddy Bridgewater so upset about the situation, because it was an internal leak on how that information even got out, because it's not like they were getting audited or something. Somebody from within their organization went to the press and told them, which ended up letting them be. That's what makes it so sick about the whole situation, man. But come on, y'all. Y'all know that y'all bought players teams. Y'all bought players something before, something to eat, giving them rides. When I was in high school, there was coaches almost dedicated to going and picking up and dropping off certain players.
Right.
I'm sure within there, somebody stopped and got something to eat. You think he's going to tell the player, I can't get you nothing.
Yeah, I can't get you
I'm going
nothing.
to eat something before we get to practice, but you don't eat nothing.
Right.
Like, come on, man. That's weak for that team, for them to even say that.
That's stupid.
And to suspend him from coaching after, in his first year, y'all went right back to state after y'all ain't been to state in a few years, which is off from Miami Northwestern. They're perennial state team. And he got you guys right back to state. I thought that was kind of weak about that. Just a couple more things before we jump off here. Shohei Ohtani in the MLB makes some more history earlier today. Hit his 1,000th career hit while also throwing 8 strikes in 4 innings as well. So Shohei is, he just got back to pitching a couple of weeks ago. He's already back in the form like what we're used to seeing. Gets his 1,000th hit. I think one of the most transcendent players in MLB history. Continues to do what he does out there. Wayne, I know you keep up with a lot of baseball and stuff, man. What do you think about Shohei continuing to do what he's been doing?
Man, he's the man, man.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have one of the best pitchers in the league on your team, but also is so versatile that he's your best
hitter at the same time.
Man, you got a gem. I mean,
Yeah.
he's worth every penny that he's getting, and he's brought some excitement to baseball that we have never seen before.
Yeah.
I mean, from the day one that he signed with the Angels, now he's on the other end of it. He's in L.A., same area, but man, it's showtime.
Yeah.
That's showtime, man. That's showtime.
Shohei still doing his big things. Shout out to my Astros. I'm gonna sneak them in a little bit, man. We went and got Carlos Correa back. I thought that was huge for the community, for the city, giving one of our champs back
And
on
he
the
wanted
team.
to be back.
He wanted to be back. He definitely. If he got to pick between living in Houston and Minnesota, y'all know where he's gonna come to, man. So
all day long.
he's coming back home where he ain't gonna freeze at the beginning of baseball season. He's coming back home here to Houston. Houston making a playoff push once again out there as well, man. So definitely had to throw my Astros into there. We'll be tuning in. I think they're playing the Angels right now as we're talking about it. Last one here. Mike Vrabel gets involved in one of his fights during the training camp. We know training camp, it's going to be some fights out there, the offense and the defense, especially once you start bringing in other teams. It's going to be some fights. He kind of gets into the middle of the scrum. He comes out a little bit bloody. I think that he's just sending a message to his team, trying to set that culture, man. Mike Vrabel is a culture guy. He said it in Tennessee. He was part of that hard-nosed culture in New England when he was there in New England. I always hated that we didn't ended up bringing him in as a coach in the Texans when he was our DC there. We ended up keeping Bill O'Brien, and I definitely thought at that time Mike Vrabel should have been our head coach. We seen the head coach of the Cowboys, Brian Schottenheimer, doing something similar, not getting into the fight, but they had multiple fights break out in their training camp, and he had the guys running lines, but he made the coaches go out there with them because the coaches couldn't stop the players from fighting. These guys are trying to set that culture at this time in training camp. What do you think about some of these coaches getting a little bit more involved, trying to set that tone and set that culture for the season?
Man, hey, so this is what happens. So the first week or two, the only thing you out there competing against and doing is practicing with your players. It's just your team. It's just, it's just New England Patriots.
Yeah.
Okay? So you're so anxious to hit somebody. So now, before your first preseason game, the team that you're going to play, most likely, is a team that you're going to practice against. Okay? So you go and you practice with them for 3 days, and then you may end up playing them on a Friday or something like that. But now you're actually competing and practicing against someone else.
Yeah. Yep.
So you're so anxious and you're so ready, man, and it's just chaos. It's fights, man. And the only thing I can tell you to do is I used to stay out of that type of stuff, man, because I was a small guy, so I'm staying out of it.
Keep your helmet on.
I'm going to talk my noise and I'm going to run back the other way. You know what I'm saying? But the big guys in the trenches, man, that's where the linebackers and the linemen, that's where it all starts. The tight ends, they always fight, man. I used to see you have fights all the time. It's
normal.
It's normal. Yeah. I mean, you're gonna see about 4 or 5 fights in every practice that you practice with another team. It may be receivers and DBs. It may be linebackers and running backs.
Yeah.
It may be these guys in the trenches. But you're gonna see fights. It just happens, and you just have to go in and break it up. Fortunately, most of the time it's not the head coach that goes in and does that. But like you say, he's trying to set, this is the culture that we in. I'm fighting with you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, and went in there and I think he took some licks and was
he
bloodied
did.
up,
He
man. I
came
think
out
something
a little
like that.
lumped up.
So yeah, that's really unusual, but it happens. It happens,
yeah,
man. I mean, guys are contentious in camp, and they go in and and like I said, you practicing against somebody, you trying to make the team. It's hot,
Yeah.
And,
That definitely adds to it.
Man, and so
That
that heat adds to it, man. And so, man, you just frustrated and man, you gonna fight. You gonna fight. You gonna talk noise. And man, stop holding me, man. And then you go and it's just like that.
Yeah. No, I get it. When especially the point of you ain't hit nobody in 3 weeks, and it's just
you ain't
really
hit nobody. Then it's your first time to hit somebody.
it is somebody else that's talking noise
from another team.
that's pushing on you, that's hitting your teammate. Yeah, every training camp, once they get the first joint practice together, it's tradition at this point. Almost, some fights is gonna break out.
Because I know, like, as receiver, man, stop holding me, dude.
Yeah,
Hold your jersey.
yeah.
And you hit his hand off your jersey. Man, keep your hands off me. And next thing you know, here we go. And then you beat him on the catch, and he gonna come tackle you, and then
tackle you
spike
late.
the ball right on his face, or and you can't hold me, bro.
Yeah.
I told you can't. So it's things like that go on. But you can't, man.
Yeah.
Get off me, dude.
I love it. That's the part of training camp I love watching the most, when you get those pure one-on-ones, drills and stuff like that, and then those 7-on-7 on 11-on-11 when you first get in there in the inner scrimmage.
Man.
Yeah, it gets super, super competitive, and I love watching it, man. So shout out to Mike Vrabel, man, trying to set that culture. Mike Vrabel's a little bit crazy, if y'all ain't figured it out by now, how he coached his Titans and the way that he coached just on another team. He's a little bit thrown off up there.
He's a player.
Exactly.
He played the game.
At the highest level.
Yeah.
He played it at the highest level, multiple Super Bowls,
Rings,
and he knows what it means to go out there and put on that Patriots uniform, man, because he competed at the highest level in that uniform. So this means something. It always means something to him, even when he was on the Texans and the Titans. But this means something different to him, putting on the uniform that you came out there and played and compete, blood, sweat, and tears in, and now you get to coach those guys. So that definitely means something to him, man. Shout out Mike Vrabel, of course, and shout out to everybody in training camp. Like I said, NFL preseason is starting tomorrow. We'll finally get a chance to watch some football. We don't have to go any more weekends without some type of football all the way until February now. So it's a great time of year. That's college, NFL, and high school. We talked about some of those week 1 matchups yesterday in high school. Super excited about all the high school matchups that are getting ready. When you drive by different places in the city, you see those teams outside, man. They're getting ready. Everybody's getting back in shape, getting warmed up, and getting ready for the season to kick off. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in with us here today on Centex Primetime. Out of time here today. We'll be back tomorrow to close out this week as we get ready for more football this upcoming weekend. I want to thank Wayne for jumping on here with me. He'll be back next week as we get ready to talk about some more of this stuff and more of what we've seen from week 1 in preseason as well. So I want to thank everybody for watching. As always, subscribe to the YouTube, Centex Sports Network on YouTube. Subscribe to the website, CentexSportsNetwork.com. Go on there, free subscription to get signed up. More interviews dropping this week on our channel on YouTube. If you haven't watched already, make sure you guys go on there and check out our interview with Colorado Athletic Director Rick George. We got Uncle Neely from Colorado on there. We got DJ McKinney, the all-pro corner, all Big 12 corner from Colorado on there. This week, we'll have Devin Bobby from Baylor, Keaton Thomas from Baylor, Jackie Marshall from Baylor. All those interviews dropping this week, so make sure you guys getting ready and getting tuned in for that. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Everybody have a great evening.